welcome to the Nordish Venture Pitch Session, where we explore how technology is transforming the maritime and logistics industry. I'm your host, Stefan Marx. I'm the founder of Nordish. At the Nordish, based in LA, we help startups to find the right product market fit, but also make connections to the maritime logistics industry. But on the other hand, we also help maritime and logistics corporates finding the right solutions for their pain points or building the right solutions for their pain points. But this session is not about the Nordish. No, we are joined by Max from Oceanis Tech, a very interesting startup from Hamburg, Germany, which is in the space of ship financing and ship investment. Welcome, Max.
Thank you, Stefan. I'm really excited to be here, and I appreciate the opportunity to share what Oceanis has developed over the past few months.
Great. That sounds amazing. Yeah, before we dive in, tell us a little bit in 60 seconds, what is your startup doing?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you. At Oceanis, our mission is to simplify the finance and investment process for maritime professionals. We do this by providing innovative features and powerful tools, such as our loan oracle, environmental score, and interactive cash flow tool, all available through our SaaS platform.
That sounds interesting. So let's set the scene. What kind of problem in the maritime industry are you solving?
Well, we have identified several challenges, I would say, in the maritime sector. Biased data, fragmented resources, and inflexible or unreliable financial tools. To give you a sense of scale, around 4,000 vessels are traded every year. So each sale involves multiple stakeholders running their financial models. Many ship owners calculate at least one vessel per day, spending hours gathering data and entering it manually. We realized it needed a change. With Oceanis Tech, we automated much of that work, offering transparency, efficiency, and reliable data-driven tools that anyone in the organization can make use of.
That sounds, to be honest, that sounds like a job. Well, when I put myself into the point of view of your potential clients, that they are currently using a lot of Excel tables, I guess, Excel sheets, and as you said, there's probably a lot of manual work. So yes. I'm pretty sure that you are solving there a big issue. Yeah, tell us a little bit about your startup. Like, how did you come up with that idea?
Yes, thank you. So let me start a few years back, because I basically started working for Oceanis when it was initially a debt broker or debt advisor. And during that time, we analyzed probably thousands of projects, and we collected hundreds of term sheets. So as a debt advisor, we founded, or initially Maximilian Otto and Erland Sommerfeld Hauge founded Oceanis. We often were referred to as shipping, Tinder in shipping. So we tried to really find the perfect match. The idea was to find the most suitable and attractive financing terms for our clients. So, a ship owner would approach us with either one vessel or maybe the entire fleet that required financing, either maybe acquisition financing or refinancing, depending on the needs. And we realized that a lot of our clients either didn't have a reliable cash flow model. Then also we realized leasing structures became extremely common and quite popular, but also there, some of them were struggling making use of these new financing types. And obviously, shipping is not very transparent, and especially the financing landscape has changed significantly over the past few years. So this is where we thought we need to step in and we need to make a change and provide something that helps our users to, make well-informed decisions. So that was basically how we founded, or I founded Oceanis a year ago, pretty much on 5th of November, actually.
Oh, so it's your birthday.
It's almost our anniversary, exactly. Next year, during Eisbein Week, there are a few reasons to celebrate, I guess.
Perfect. Unfortunately, I'm not in Hamburg, but I wish you all the best. It sounds amazing. So, what's the core technology then behind your solution? Like, I could imagine that when you thought about the pain point, which you've just mentioned, how did you transfer that pain point to a digital solution, and what's the magic behind that?
Yeah. So, I mean, the core technology is really powered by exclusive data we have collected over the past 6 years. As I said, Oceanis was initially founded 2019 as a debt advisor. Additionally, we are receiving data from our shareholder Signal Ocean, and we have developed our own proprietary algorithm that no other company really offers, which is mainly found in our loan oracle. We address these solutions through our platform to mainly ship owners, ship brokers, financiers, and anyone who's basically investing in the maritime industry. So that could be a PE fund or maybe a family office or a private individual who would like to invest in a vessel.
Interesting. Speaking of the data, can you share a little bit more what kind of data that is, or is that a secret? So what kind of data are you using actually?
Okay, so the data, and I'm also happy to demonstrate that maybe through a short demo later on. We share vessel particulars, so starting obviously with like length, depth of the vessel, who's the owner of the vessel, maybe who's the commercial or technical manager, and all sorts of environmental or emissions data is provided. All of this is provided by our shareholder. Then we share fair market values, resale values, new building values. So this is one part that is provided by us through our platform. But we have also collected a lot of term sheets over the past few years. And we have seen a lot of projects. And with these projects, we collected OPEX figures, dry dock figures, technical management fees. We received, obviously, through the term sheets, we collected a good, or we managed to get a good overview of how the financial landscape is organized, the pain points of the respective financiers. And all of this data is collected and then shared with our users. And that's, I think, something that needs to be maintained on a regular basis. So we talk to most of the financiers on a regular basis. We talk to plenty of ship owners and brokers, and we really try to have the most recent data available so that, our platform obviously always is up to date and, our users can benefit from these very, I would say, exclusive data.
That makes sense. And when you're saying you gave a lot of data, then what comes to my mind is also already like how to analyze that data. I could imagine that how do you actually do that? Is there also some part AI in it, or how do you actually manage to analyze that data?
Yeah, so it's basically our own algorithm we have exclusively developed. AI, obviously being a young tech company, is something we are heavily looking into. But to be very honest with you, I'm also a little bit reluctant at this point in time to implement AI on our platform. Why? Our industry is very traditional, and I believe that maybe not everyone is very or is maybe a little bit skeptical towards AI. So we have to be very sensitive, because I had a couple of discussions with clients. They said, so I'm typing in my charter agreement, into your cash flow model. So who has access to this data? Obviously, no one. But you see by these questions that are raised through our users that they are all a little bit skeptical what is happening. And now imagine we are using maybe OpenAI or something else. What is happening with the data that a user might enter into our platform? So we are slowly trying to get a better understanding. Is this a requirement of the market? And is this something we can then obviously benefit from? For sure, AI will play a massive role in our organization down the road. But for now, we are trying to slowly look into this. For sure, AI is something we are using for our daily processes to optimize maybe the code or to optimize certain visuals on our platform or maybe even on our website. So we need to be efficient. We are only a small team of 6 people. So AI is definitely something that comes in quite handy.
I think that statement is actually very smart. According to my experience, also it's about first of all building the basics of IT in order to apply AI to your systems. And it's not about only having the data. You need to sort out the data. You need to have it needs to be structured. You need to have a performance system which can actually run APIs and analyze the data. So there's a lot behind that. And I think the shipping industry is not that far yet to instantly implement those solutions. But first of all, they need to work on the basics in order to build AI on top.
Yes.
So I think that statement is actually very smart to start slow, as our industry is. It's very traditional, and sometimes innovation takes a little bit longer. So that's
Exactly.
That's what I'm agreeing. Yeah, that's very interesting. Okay, next question. Can you describe your value proposition in one sentence? Like, what is the benefit of using Oceanis Tech?
Oceanis Tech digitalizes and streamlines maritime financing and asset transactions, making ship sales, leasing, and loan management faster, more transparent, and for sure more efficient. I guess that was one sentence.
Yeah, perfect. That sounds very interesting. So let's see it in action then. Can you walk us through a product demo where we can actually see your solution?
I love to. And I will try to do it pretending to be a shipbroker. I mean, I've never been a shipbroker myself, so I'm not trying to offend anyone. If you have a different opinion, please reach out and tell me how the life of a shipbroker actually works. But I will try my very best. So let me share our platform. Okay, wonderful. Great. Okay. So once you log into our platform, you will be directed to our dashboard. I will get back to this one later because, as I said, I would like to sort of pretend that I'm acting as a broker. So let's assume I'm on the phone with my client, and the client and we are currently discussing a specific vessel. Let's assume we are talking about MTC Grace. So what I can do as a user of our platform, you either type in the name of the vessel into our search bar you see on the very top, or just purely the name. So I type in Sea Grace, I press enter, and what will happen is you will see a list of vessels that are all identified as Sea Grace. So you see Sea Grace twice and Sea Grace 2. We have already saved Sea Grace to a fleet. So therefore, and obviously in preparation for today's podcast, we will look at this vessel. So you select the vessel, and then you will be redirected to these 4 main tabs. And I would love to just quickly guide you through and explain how probably the process would look like when a shipbroker and a ship owner are talking to each other while using our platform. So we have the main information tab, market intelligence, loan oracle, and cash flow. So as I said, once you search for the vessel, and I would like to highlight, so we are mainly focusing on tankers and dry bulk carriers. We are already working on the database for container vessels and also other niche segments such as maybe MPPs or coasters, etc. So on the main information tab, as it says, you will find the most common vessel particulars, IMO number, the current flag, the vessel name, country build, etc. We also share the fair market value, but I will get back to this part under the market intelligence tab in a second. The user can also add, for example, the purchase date and the purchase price, because this, I will also highlight this later on the dashboard, we show the mark-to-market development. Furthermore, as highlighted to you earlier, Signal also provides us with emissions data. And what we have developed, we have created our own environmental score, because the idea with the platform is to simplify the decision-making process. And let's say you're looking at 2-3 vessels you might want to acquire. I'm not super familiar with these scores, but that's why we came up with something that combines all of it. So you can easily compare. So a 6 is better than a 4 out of 10, again, for easy reference and easy comparison. We have further details on the main engine, etc. At the very bottom, you can actually upload documents such as an MOA, a time charter party agreement, anything you can think of. You can add notes either for yourself or you can also share this within your organization. So this is what you find under the main information. The next part is the market intelligence tab. So our clients asked us if we could come up with a tab where all the data we have is consolidated. So you see we have sub-tabs called valuations, earning, expenses, capex, and financing. I will only highlight a few that are probably now relevant for sort of pretending being a shipbroker. I see the fair market value, which you have seen on the main information tab, the new building value and the new building parity we calculate, as well as the scrap value, which can be adjusted by changing the steel price. The resale value and the purchase price was already highlighted. We also show this in a graph. If you're only interested, let's say, in the development of the fair market value, you can just click away all the others and then it will be highlighted accordingly. This is the overview of the new building parity, and again, creating transparency, efficiency. Here you will find a lot of S&P transactions for comparable vessels. So with the main information in the market intelligence tab, we obviously want to get a first impression of the vessel. So we might as well also look at the earnings. So here we provide historic earnings for a generic vessel, in this case, product tanker. So what you can do is you can say, please show me the historic earnings from 2020, for example, and the 5 years back. And then we instantly provide you with the average earnings for that period. And here you can also see it on the graph. Has there been any peaks of that period? What we will also provide for our users in the future are current fixtures, FFAs. And we have actually just yesterday signed an agreement with a Canadian company. They developed their own AI tool. So coming back to AI. And what they do is they basically predict future earnings. Extremely exciting. Very excited about this partnership. So this is something our users will be able to explore as well. So basically, they will tell you how the earnings will look next periods. That could either be weekly, monthly, quarterly, or even annually. But I will share more on this at a later point in time. Expenses we have collected, as I said, through the projects we have looked at in the past, OPEX figures, technical management fees, dry dock costs. So all of this is captured under the other tabs. But let me now more focus on our loan oracle. So this is something we have developed ourselves. And as I said, so now I'm talking to my client, presenting sea grays. We think the specs are fine. Maybe the vessel's scrubber fitted, it has the right depth, etc. In terms of earnings, we got a good feeling about the past and maybe future predictions. And now I might be interested in financing this vessel. So I want to get a first impression. How financeable is this project? Yeah. So typically we ask our users for the future setup. This is a little bit related to KYC, know your customer. So, is there any sanctioned entity involved, etc.? Is it a flag of convenience? So these are the type of questions we would ask. Then what kind of expenses are related to this transaction? Let's say the technical management fee are actually only 100,000 per year. By the way, all the purple colored figures are pre-filled by us. So again, to make it way more efficient and a lot easier for our users to guide through. And you will actually see this also in our cash flow tool, because that's where it becomes even more relevant. Then we obviously need the employment side and what are your financing requirements? And we assume it's a refinancing and 50%. You push start calculation. And within a few seconds, it runs through our algorithm. And we then provide you instantly with the likelihood how financeable this project is. And in this case, there are good chances. So that basically means there seem to be a few financiers that are generally interested in this vessel type. Yeah, so product tanker, 3 years old. And we are also able to provide you with indicative terms. So as I said, we collected hundreds of term sheets. And we are updating these details on a regular basis because we're talking to most of these financiers. So in this case, we believe, again, depending on the earnings, the requirements the user has, this is the margin range. Why is it a range? Because we also share potential financiers. And sometimes there might be a fund involved. Typically, they're a little bit more expensive, a bank slightly cheaper. So that's why you could see a range, but also within these financiers, they might have a certain range of their margin depending on the structure of the transaction. We show the loan amount, the LTV, and the tenor the user could expect. And as I said, we also highlight the potential financiers that would be a good match for this transaction. And last but not least, what we try to do is we try to collect financial transactions, talking to owners, talking to financiers, going through LinkedIn. A lot of manual work, but and as you can see, we don't always have the full data access, but we still want to create guidance and transparency by showing our users what kind of transactions have been communicated to everyone so far. So in this case, it seems C-Grace with my 50% leverage expectations has a good chance to be financed. So now I want to get a better feeling, how good is this project really? Yeah, what is the return if I should purchase this vessel or invest, depending on your requirements? So we have two options at the moment. We have an advanced cash flow model and a light version. The advanced really allows you to play around. Is there a dry dock buildup? How do you want to depreciate the residual value of your vessel? Are there any minimum liquidities involved, etc.? But since I can quickly just show you the advanced version, quite extensive, again, a lot of pre-filled data, which can easily be overwritten. So a lot of input required. So if you have a little bit more time, that's what I would suggest. But if you're on the phone with your client and he quickly wants to get an idea, this is what we suggest. It's a very, very short version of the cash flow input version. We have all the assumptions highlighted here that are running in the background. So what kind of margin is calculated? How are the OPEX inflated, etc. But basically what you need to insert is the employment, the period, what financing requirements you have, and your OPEX. Let's say they're slightly lower. And you don't necessarily have to add a residual value or exit value because otherwise it will be just depreciated down to scrap. And then again, push calculation. And then what we provide is a cash flow overview as you typically see it in Excel. This is on a yearly basis, but also on a quarterly basis. And on the very top, we start with the sources and uses. Just to provide you with a general overview, because there might be some other costs involved, maybe some minimum liquidity is required. So this is quite essential to get a good overview of the project. And just to quickly guide you through the cash flow itself. So we share the gross revenue, the operational cash flow after interest, cash flow after installments. How is your loan developing over time? Here you see obviously the breakdown for dry docks, upgrading, whatever might be required. In case this is not of interest, it can be easily removed. And then you see how your residual value is depreciated over time. And we also share obviously the balloon. And at the very bottom, we also share break-even rates, which we also share under our market intelligence tabs, more on a few other assumptions. And last but not least, we show the IRR for this specific transaction and the money multiple. And if you're interested and to get a better understanding of your downside risk, we also have the sensitivity analysis. All of this can be exported as a PDF document or even as Excel, but without formulas. And you can see here on the top, I've calculated different scenarios. Maybe I calculated with terms from financier A, or I calculated with a different leverage or with a different earnings structure. And all of this can be saved directly here under the vessel, but also on the very left, you see we have the Loan Oracle tab. So all the Loan Oracle inquiries I've calculated are all saved here. Same as the cash flow tool. All of the calculations are saved here. So if you have calculated a vessel last week, last month, last year, easy reference, and you can just quickly click on it and you will be redirected back to the cash flow calculation. So coming back to C-Grace, on the phone with the client, the specs of the vessel seem sufficient, seems to be a good vessel in a good condition. The overall market data is also quite promising. Financing doesn't seem to be an issue. And in this case, we even have a very promising return of the project. So maybe now your client says, would actually be great. Can we compare this maybe with another vessel? So what we have created, we have a projects tab. And here you see I've created a watch list, but also client A, hot candidates. Again, it very much depends on your requirements, how you want to name it. And so what is this basically doing? We are just comparing up to 3 vessels with each other. Yeah? So you can just put them side by side. And it's a little bit like when you compare iPhones on the Apple website. They are put next to each other, and then you can really go through all the individual parameters and see what applies more to your expectations. And it's basically a consolidation of our entire platform and all the data we are able to provide. So this should give you really a good overview, and hopefully will make your life a lot easier to make a decision if you're going to go for Sea Duchess or Sea Grace in this case. Something else I just would quickly like to highlight, and then I'm basically my brief demo, is we have also alert functions implemented. So let's assume you are interested in Sea Grace, but 84.5 million fair market value just seems a bit too high. So let's say it drops to 83.5 million. You would like to be notified. So of course you can go on our platform daily and see how the value develops, or you activate our alert function and you will get a notification either on your mobile phone or as an email and saying, hey, Stefan, just be aware, Sea Grace now dropped to 83.5 million, for example. And then you can recalculate and see, what kind of improvements this had. So this is one alert function we have implemented, and the other is a loan to value covenant check. This might be more relevant maybe for ship owners that have financing, or a financier themselves who want to see, are we still in line with the agreements of the loan agreement? And you could, set the loan to value covenant at, 65% as an example. Once it reaches this value, again, you will be notified that you might end up being in a breach. So this is just something I wanted to highlight. And now just quickly coming back to our dashboard, this is also a consolidated overview of how did the value of your fleet develop over time. So you see your tanker fleet and your bulk carrier fleet for this specific sort of client. Here you have a list of all sorts of clients or users or fleets you can create yourself. We show how the scrap value has developed over time. You see a breakdown of your fleet, an environmental score overview. And what we also provide is, because again, it's meant to be as a one-stop shop solution, the Oceanis Tech platform. So we provide our own market reports. We share exchange rates and base rates. And last but not least, we have developed our own indexes for tankers, containers, and dry for easy reference. And there might be more in the future. So very much depends on the feedback of our clients, what they desire. We are a software company, so we can basically develop anything they require. So
That's cool.
that's basically in a nutshell.
Very interesting, Max. Thank you so much. And speaking of clients, do you already have clients on that platform?
Yes. So we launched our MVP end of April of this year. And we managed to onboard about 75 users. That represents about 25 companies, out of which we already have a few paying clients, which we are extremely proud about. This year was really focused on the product, ensuring that everything is flawless, running as it's supposed to be. We have a few more things we are about to finalize. But now we are really ready to go to focus on sales and convincing our clients that there are probably some good alternatives, such as the Oceanis Tech platform.
That's amazing, yes, man. That's really cool.
Yes, thank you. We are really proud. So it's not easy. The industry sometimes is a bit, I wouldn't say reluctant, but maybe a bit slower to adopt to new technologies. But I really hope that also with this opportunity to share this with the audience that we see a lot of benefits here.
Absolutely. And this is, to be honest, this is the intention of the educating, but also presenting technology out there. Who is building what and how can it actually help the maritime and shipping industry? And I think what you have built here is already very mature. It looks really, really smooth. And I think for clients in that space, I think that solution could be very interesting. And
thank you.
Speaking of the next steps, or speaking of long-term vision, or like, where do you see yourself or this company like in 3 to 5 years from now?
I mean, overall, obviously, our intention, our goal is to add value for our clients, and that's sooner than later. In the next couple of years, I mean, for sure, we want to be one of the top 3 global platforms for maritime and maritime investments and financing, which is going to be a big challenge, but we are very convinced that with our product, with the support of our shareholders, we are able to achieve this. But yeah, it's really mainly about creating added value,
Right.
because in the end, with what we provide, we really hope that our users can make better, well-informed decisions, and in the end, get the return they are expecting.
And I think you're on a very good way in order to do that. If you could partner with any company today, who would it be and why, or how does your dream customer look like?
That's a very interesting question. I mean, as I said, we have partnered with Signal Ocean, which is we are extremely proud about. We appreciate this partnership. As I said, we just yesterday signed a partnership with a Canadian company, which is also extremely we are really proud about.
Yeah.
I think in the end, we would partner with anyone who shares the same values, who is open for transparency, for innovation, for digitalization. So anyone who believes in this, and especially in the maritime space, is a welcome partner, and we are happy to talk to. So I don't have a specific name in mind at the moment, but yeah, everyone is welcome. We believe in partnerships. We there are so many smart people and ideas out there, and we can gain from them, I believe, and hopefully vice versa. So this is how this is how I would answer the question.
Great. And to wrap this up, then where can people find you or reach out to you?
We have a website, so oceanis.io. And you can also find Oceanis Tech as well as myself on LinkedIn. And hopefully you are so kind, Stefan, to share also maybe my contact details at the end. Happy to get in contact, and yeah, please feel free to reach out. Happy to demonstrate this individually to anyone who's interested.
Absolutely. To wrap that up, thank you so much, Max, for showing us this demo. I think it's very interesting. Also, thank you very much to our audience that is having a look into this session, into the Nordish Venture pitch sessions. If you enjoyed this episode, just subscribe on YouTube, but also on LinkedIn. Reach out to Oceanis Tech. And yeah, thank you so much for joining the session, Max. This was very interesting. And see you next time. Thank you.
Stefan, thanks a lot. It was a real pleasure. Great job. And yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Thank you.
All the best. Bye-bye.